time would they give me if I burned the airport down?
What?
Everyone's coming out swinging.
You deserve to die, Gary.
Make good on your word, or I walk.
Karen has closed herself off completely. Every attempt to reach her, to bring her back into the fold, is met with cold rejection or agonizing silence. After the trauma of episode 4, where she held Aaron's baby while mourning the loss of her own, Karen is no longer seeking support. She's actively rejecting it. Her grief has turned into a wall, and no one, not even Aaron or Fatima, can scale it. She's disappearing in plain sight. While everyone else tries to rebuild, Karen is stuck reliving the moment that destroyed her. She won't leave the nursery. She won't eat. She won't talk. She won't even touch the child she once called a blessing. And that choice, that unbearable refusal to engage, is threatening to unravel every bond she's ever had. The sisters are watching her fall apart, and they're powerless to stop it. What's worse is the emotional distance isn't just from them, it's from herself. Karen doesn't recognize the woman she's become, and neither do the people who love her. Fatima tries to carry the weight of the group, but even she's cracking. She's hiding her pregnancy, torn between loyalty to Karen and the secret growing inside her. The burden of silence is too much, and the pressure is building. Meanwhile, Aaron is trying to keep his head above water. He wants to be there for Karen, but grief has turned her heart to stone. And Zach, he's sinking deeper into his own pain. The loss of his child has left him raw, angry, and bitter. Every glance at Aaron feels like a knife. There's no one to blame, but the tension between them is thick, and it's only getting worse. Zach wants to mourn in peace, but Karen's silence feels like betrayal. How can she shut out the world and expect him to just keep moving? How can she hold on to Aaron's child while ignoring his pain? The conflict is quiet, but it's consuming everything. And while the men struggle, the women are breaking too. Sabrina, still reeling from Rich's betrayal, feels abandoned and used. Her once soft heart is hardening, and in episode 5, we'll see that shift take hold. She's tired of being quiet, tired of swallowing her rage, and she's about to make a scene that changes everything. But not even that compares to what's coming between Danny and Sabrina. What was once a bond of trust has become a cold war of distance and misunderstanding. Danny is working on herself, but she's exhausted. The emotional toll of helping everyone but herself is finally too much. Reddit fans have already begun to speculate that Danny might walk away from the entire group if things don't change. And honestly, they might be right. Sistas episode 5 is setting up the collapse of everything we thought was unbreakable. Not through dramatic confrontations, but through silence, distance, and the refusal to heal. The trailer hints at heartbreak. Not loud, screaming heartbreak, but the quiet kind. The kind that sneaks in through whispered words, through ignored texts, through empty rooms where laughter used to live. And at the center of it all is Karen, refusing to let go, refusing to move on, refusing to let anyone in. The grief is eating her alive, and the sisters? They're watching her disappear, unable to reach her. This isn't just a storyline. This is emotional devastation. And it's only the beginning. The pain is spreading. What began with Karen's silent retreat is now echoing through every corner of the sisterhood. The once unshakable bond between these women is crumbling under the weight of everything they've survived, and everything they're still trying to hide. In episode 5, what we're witnessing isn't just grief, it's emotional erosion. A slow, quiet unraveling of trust, love, and shared strength. Karen's isolation has created a vacuum, and that emptiness is pulling everyone in. Fatima, who has always been the voice of calm and reason, is losing her balance. She's walking a tightrope, carrying the burden of her secret pregnancy while trying to support a woman who won't even look her in the eyes anymore. Fatima's silence isn't just about protecting herself. It's about protecting the group from one more shock they aren't ready for. But the truth always finds a way, and when it does, the fallout could be devastating. Aaron, still grieving in his own quiet way, is starting to feel the sting of rejection too. He was there when Karen needed him most, but now she won't even speak his name. She blames herself, she blames life, and somewhere deep down, maybe she even blames him. The child they thought would bring light into their darkness was never meant to be. And now, as he watches Karen slip away, he's left holding memories that no longer bring comfort, only pain. Zach, on the other hand, isn't silent. He's angry. He's loud in his heartbreak. Every moment Karen spends avoiding him, every glance she gives Aaron, is a fresh wound. He doesn't know who to fight. His grief, the past, or the man who now stands where he once did. Zach is a man undone, and episode 5 teases that his breaking point is near. Whether it comes through confrontation or collapse, it's only a matter of time before Zach makes a decision that changes everything. And when he does, no one will be ready. Then there's Sabrina, wounded, disillusioned, and done being the one who bends. Rich's betrayal broke something inside her that she didn't even know could be broken. For so long, Sabrina has played the peacemaker. She's been the calm, the gentle, the voice of forgiveness. But now, that voice is quiet. Replaced by something harder, colder. A part of her wants to scream. A part of her wants revenge. And in episode 5, it looks like she might finally get the chance to say everything she's been holding in. No more second chances. No more kindness for people who only know how to destroy. Sabrina is stepping into her anger, and it's going to change the way everyone sees her, including Danny. Because while Sabrina is hardening, Danny is falling apart. She's tired. Tired of being the one who's always okay, the one who always makes the jokes, always keeps things light. Inside, she's drowning, and no one sees it. Her attempts at self-improvement, her steps toward healing, they're being ignored in the chaos of everyone else's grief. And that's the tragedy of Danny's story right now. She's healing in silence, but silence in this group has become dangerous. In episode 5, fans believe Danny might finally snap. Whether it's walking away from Sabrina or confronting the unresolved tension between her and Tony, she's done playing small in a world where her voice has been overlooked for too long. Even Andi, the one who usually stands apart from the emotional wreckage, isn't safe anymore. Hudson is back in the picture, and his shadow is threatening to pull her into a darkness she thought she'd escaped. The legal threats are real, and the consequences of letting him back in, or pushing him too far, could cost her everything. And then there's Robin, the man who once held her heart. Their story was never finished, and in episode 5, it feels like fate might finally force them into the same room. But Andi is different now. She's been through too much, seen too much. And even if part of her wants to believe in love again, the other part knows better. Love isn't safe. Love doesn't heal. Not in this world. Not anymore. As each woman faces her private storm, the group begins to fracture. There are no big fights, no dramatic walkouts, just a growing silence, missed calls, unanswered messages, dinners with one chair empty, hugs that feel cold, words that land too hard. Karen's grief may have lit the first match, but the fire is spreading, and no one is safe from the burn. Episode 5 doesn't just continue the story, it escalates it. The emotions are sharper, the wounds deeper, and the sisterhood that once felt indestructible is now hanging by a thread. And when that thread finally snaps, who will be there to catch the pieces? Episode 5 isn't just about grief anymore, it's about secrets. The kind that build slowly and quietly, like cracks under the surface, invisible until the whole foundation gives way. And right now, every character is hiding something. Fatima's pregnancy is the most dangerous one of all. Not because it's shameful, but because it's so powerful, so emotionally charged, that when the truth comes out, it will blow the group apart. She's been holding it in for too long. The fear of how Karen will react, the fear of what it means for her relationship with Zach, the fear of what it means for her own identity. She's trying to be strong. She always is. But Fatima isn't made of steel. She's human. And episode 5 is pushing her to the edge. Every time she sees Karen broken and silent, guilt eats away at her. Every time she stands beside Zach, who's still grieving the loss of his child, she wonders how long she can keep hiding life inside her without collapsing. Reddit theories are already spinning. Some fans believe Fatima may be forced to reveal her secret not by choice, but by circumstance. Whether it's a medical scare, an emotional outburst, or someone accidentally discovering her condition, the truth is close. Too close. And when it drops, it's going to split loyalties wide open. Zach doesn't know, and that ignorance is starting to poison everything. He thinks he's grieving alone, that he and Karen are the only ones shattered. But the truth is, there's a new heartbeat in the middle of this storm. And the second he finds out, he won't just be shocked. He'll be furious. Not just at Fatima, but at himself, at the timing, at life. Zach is a man who's spent this season trying to find footing in a world that keeps shifting beneath him. One moment he was planning for fatherhood, the next he's burying dreams. And now, without even knowing it, he's about to face another twist that could either redeem him or destroy what little piece he has left. And that's the tragedy of Zach's story in episode 5. He's not ready. Not for truth, not for healing, not for anything that reminds him of what he's lost. Karen, meanwhile, is still frozen in time. Her silence isn't just about grief anymore, it's become a kind of weapon. She's punishing the people around her without realizing it. Every time she refuses to speak, to engage, to simply exist in the same emotional space as her friends, she's driving a wedge deeper and deeper into their hearts. And in episode 5, that wedge threatens to become permanent. There's a scene teased in the trailer where Karen sits alone in the nursery, the light dim, the air heavy, while the rest of the house carries on without her. That visual says everything. She's still in the past, still in the moment where her dreams died, and she refuses to step into the future. Some fans believe she's using the baby, Aaron's child, as a kind of emotional anchor. She can't let go of her pain, so she clings to what's left of the storm, even if it means alienating everyone else. And if Aaron tries to pull her out of that grief too forcefully, it could backfire. Karen may lash out at him, accuse him of trying to replace what was lost with what remains. That kind of emotional collision is exactly what this episode is building toward, a breaking point, a choice. Karen either lets people in or pushes them away for good. Sabrina's storyline also deepens in ways that feel both painful and empowering. Rich is back, not physically perhaps, but emotionally. His betrayal still lingers like smoke in her lungs, and she can't breathe properly until she gets closure. Episode 5 hints that Sabrina may take justice into her own hands, not violently, but vocally. She's no longer interested in forgiveness. She wants truth. She wants to look him in the eye and remind him that she's not a woman to be played with. Fan theories suggest she'll confront him in public, maybe at the ER where the Dr. Cruz incident still hangs in the air. And in doing so, she might not just call out Rich, but also reignite the conversation around Black women's health and how they're treated by the medical system. That spark could turn into a fire, and it may be Sabrina of all people who leads the charge. But that fire may come at a cost. Sabrina and Danny are not aligned right now. Their friendship, once solid, is fraying fast. Danny feels abandoned, unseen, and she's tired of being the one who shows up while others shut down. In episode 5, their tension may finally erupt, not in violence but in painful words that land like blows, words that can't be taken back. And when that happens, the group won't just be fractured, it'll be shattered. Andi, too, is at a crossroads. Her legal case with Hudson is heating up, and it's more than just a courtroom battle now. It's personal. Hudson isn't just threatening her livelihood, he's threatening her peace, her sense of safety. And Andi, for all her composure, is afraid. Not just of him, but of the choices she might have to make to protect herself. Robin, on the other hand, is still a ghost in her life, lingering, waiting. Episode 5 might finally bring them face to face, but what kind of reunion would that even be? Robin once knew a different Andi, a softer one, but this version of her is sharpened by pain and trial. If they reconnect, it'll be under a new set of rules, and maybe that's exactly what she needs, a love that matches her strength, not one that depends on her breaking. As all these secrets swirl and emotional wounds deepen, Episode 5 becomes less about healing and more about surviving. The Sisterhood, once a refuge, now feels like a battlefield. Each woman fighting her own war, her own guilt, her own truth. And when secrets finally come to light, not everyone will survive the emotional cost. Because once trust is gone, once silence becomes louder than love, what's left to hold on to? In Sistas Season 9, Episode 5, emotions are no longer simmering beneath the surface, they're boiling over. What began as quiet grief and internal struggle is now exploding into confrontation, blame, and bitter honesty. There's no more hiding, no more pretending. Every secret, every suppressed emotion, every unspoken word has reached a boiling point. And now the walls are coming down, not gently, not carefully, but with fury. The episode begins to expose what happens when love is not enough. When the pain is so sharp, so constant, that it blinds you to reason, and all that's left is anger. Karen, once a beacon of strength even in suffering, has become a shell. Her silence is no longer seen as vulnerability, it's viewed as rejection. The very people who tried to hold her up are now feeling discarded, unwanted, forgotten. And that pain? It turns into resentment. It spreads like wildfire. Aaron, still aching for connection, tries one last time to reach her. But Karen's wall is solid stone now. She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to talk. In her eyes, no one understands her grief. No one knows what it feels like to lose a child that never had a chance. Aaron, heartbroken and helpless, begins to withdraw. He starts questioning everything: his love, his choices, even his place in Karen's life. The man who once stood strong beside her is now wondering if he was ever truly wanted. And that question may lead him down a darker road. Fans are already whispering theories about Aaron making a drastic move. Whether it's stepping away for good or seeking comfort elsewhere, the emotional distance between them is becoming permanent. And that's the true tragedy. Karen's inability to express her pain is turning her sanctuary into isolation, and her lover into a stranger. Zach's pain, on the other hand, has never been quiet. And in Episode 5, it's reaching dangerous heights. He's been trying to keep it together. But every interaction with Karen and Aaron chips away at his sanity. The loss of his baby is tearing him apart from the inside out, and watching Karen cradle Aaron's child like her own feels like betrayal in the cruelest form. It doesn't matter that it's not fair. It doesn't matter that grief is messy. In Zach's eyes, he's been erased, his pain invalidated, his child forgotten. And that kind of emotional wound doesn't heal with time. It festers. Episode 5 teases that Zach may confront Karen, and it won't be soft. It won't be understanding. It will be raw, angry, and explosive. A confrontation years in the making. And if Fatima happens to be nearby when that happens, her secret may not stay buried much longer. Because Zach, pushed to his breaking point, might force the truth out without meaning to. Or worse, Fatima may finally lose control and let it spill herself. Either way, it won't be clean. It won't be gentle. It will be a moment that changes everything. And speaking of Fatima, her strength is slipping. She's always been the calm, the mediator, the one who holds the group together. But no one can carry that much pain, not without cracking. Fatima is exhausted. Her body is changing. Her emotions are spiraling. And she's doing it all while keeping the biggest secret of her life. Episode 5 shows that she's at her limit. She wants to be supportive. She wants to be the anchor. But she's human. And all this pretending, all this hiding, it's crushing her. When she finally breaks, it won't be quiet. It'll be in front of everyone. And the confession won't just be about the pregnancy. It'll be about how alone she's felt, how unsupported, how used. Fans predict a powerful scene where Fatima finally lets herself be vulnerable. And for once, the strong one becomes the one who needs saving. But who will be there to save her when everyone else is too busy saving themselves? Danny, meanwhile, is walking a tightrope of emotional exhaustion and buried frustration. She's been the comic relief, the tough one, the unbreakable spirit. But inside, she's cracking. Episode 5 may finally show her erupting in a way we've never seen before. The tension with Sabrina is unbearable now. Danny feels betrayed, forgotten, left out. And Sabrina, wrapped up in her own pain and crusade for justice, hasn't seen it. The two of them are on opposite emotional timelines. Danny is begging for connection while Sabrina is seeking independence. That kind of mismatch can't last. Something's going to break. A conversation. A screaming match. A complete emotional split. Reddit is already buzzing with the possibility that Danny might walk away, not just from Sabrina, but from the entire group. And if that happens, it might be permanent. Because sometimes, even love can't fix the damage silence has done. Sabrina herself is on fire, not in the way she used to be, quiet and introspective, but bold, loud, and unapologetic. She's done being the victim. She's done being the one who forgives. Episode 5 may show her publicly confronting Rich or Dr. Cruz, or maybe both. And when she does, it'll send shockwaves through everyone. Because Sabrina isn't just speaking for herself anymore, she's speaking for every Black woman who's been ignored, dismissed, or devalued. Her pain has become purpose, and that kind of transformation is powerful. But power can be isolating, especially when the people around you aren't ready for it. Her friends might not understand this new version of her, and Sabrina may find herself winning battles, but losing the people she loves. Andi's storyline continues to twist in the background, weaving legal tension with emotional minefields. Her case with Hudson is escalating, and it's pulling her into moral gray areas she never thought she'd face. Episode 5 hints that Hudson may try to use her past against her relationships, her decisions, her vulnerabilities. Andi is tough, but she's not invincible. And Robin's reappearance could complicate everything. If he comes back now, offering support, offering love, will Andi accept it? Or will she push him away, afraid to be seen as weak? Her story is the slow burn in this explosive episode. But make no mistake, the fire is growing. By the end of episode 5, there are no clean answers, no happy resolutions, just devastation, revelations, and the haunting feeling that this group of women, once bound by love, trust, and sisterhood, may never be the same again. Because once truth is exposed, once words are spoken in anger, once silence becomes a weapon, there's no going back. Episode 5 is the moment everything changes, forever. By the time Sistas Season 9 Episode 5 reaches its final moments, it's no longer about who's right or wrong. It's about who's left standing. Because the emotional destruction left behind is too deep, too personal, and too irreversible. What once was a sisterhood, strong, unbreakable, and rooted in love, now stands fractured beyond recognition. The women are scattered emotionally, torn apart by pain that runs in different directions. And it's all been building to this, the moment when everyone finally breaks. But what makes Episode 5 so heartbreaking isn't just the confrontation, the secrets, or the tears. It's the silence that follows. The eerie quiet after everyone has said too much, or worse, walked away without saying anything at all. Karen's breakdown is no longer a slow descent. It's a collapse. Her refusal to grieve out loud has isolated her so completely that even the people who love her most no longer know how to help. There's nothing left for them to say. Aaron, drained and defeated, no longer tries to fix things. His presence in her life starts to fade, not because he wants to leave, but because she won't let him stay. And for Karen, that becomes the ultimate tragedy. She doesn't push people away because she wants to be alone. She pushes them away because she doesn't know how to live with the pain and let others witness it. The baby she once held onto like a life raft becomes a reminder of everything she's lost. And in Episode 5, she may finally put that baby in someone else's arms. Not as a gesture of healing, but as a surrender to the reality that she's not ready to be anyone's mother. That moment, quiet and wordless, might be the most devastating scene of the season, because it means Karen has let go, not of the baby, but of herself. Zach watches this all unfold with an ache in his chest that won't go away. The man who's been bursting with anger now finds himself exhausted, emptied out. All his rage has turned into grief, and all his grief has turned into guilt. He starts to see Karen not as someone who wronged him, but as someone who's drowning, just like he is. And yet that realization doesn't bring them closer. It only makes the distance between them feel heavier. There are too many wounds, too many words that can't be unsaid. And as Zach finally learns about Fatima's pregnancy, whether through confession or accidental discovery, it adds another layer of complexity. Instead of feeling joy, he feels confusion, regret, fear. Because how can he celebrate new life when the ghost of the one he lost still haunts him every day? Zach is trapped between two realities, the future growing inside Fatima and the past buried with Karen. And no matter which way he turns, someone's heart is going to break.